Chapter 35 to 36. Amon released a satisfied breath as a puff of smoke left his mouth. Currently, he was dripping himself in a pool-sized hot spring inside the Chandora Hall. He had his eyes closed as he was floating on his back with his wings under the water. They were working like legs and were strolling/walking in the water as it was long enough to reach the floor underwater. First a coffin and now a hot spring? What else do you have underground? I want to meet the guy who designed this place, Amon said as he enjoyed the perfectly warm water, which created a warm white fog enshrouding this whole place. Just a few minutes earlier, just after Amon got out of the incubator, the AI uncovered a small part of the underground floor, revealing a hot spring. Checking the possible dangers using his observation hockey, Amon decided to take a dip. Feels so good. As he was floating in the water, many mechanical tentacles were coming out of the pool and cleaning his body and wings. The white sticky stuff covering his whole body was a pain to wash, but the hands did their job. A few minutes passed as Amon stood up in the water. Oh hey, or at least he tried, as he slipped deep inside and almost drank some of these now white water. However, he was able to get a hold of himself at the last moment. Wow, my wings are large enough to reach the floor, Amon thought as he swam in the water. Each of the wings should be 190 centimeters to touch the ground. But when I came out first it wasn't so big. Wait, is it because well, it's not impossible. Amon just shook his head at the possible power. Hey, why is this hot spring so deep? Amon yelled towards the AI's camera as it just beeped. It's not that it's deep, it's just not for you. The ones living here 800 years ago weren't short like you. He just ignored it and slowly got up from the pool, walking towards a mirror. Soon, he looked at him in the mirror. His hair was too long, as it even reached his back. His height also increased, now a little more than 160 centimeters. With his body, his muscles also grew, as his body became more attractive, though not good enough to be called the famous swimmer body yet. And unless he is naked, everyone would still take him as a girl. The part that stood out the most from the rest of his body is his wings. The wings which were large and wide, as if they were proud of being able to exist and move, while the newly wet feather only improved its beauty. Imagine Lucifer Morningstar's wings from the Netflix series. While his red eyes were reflecting the wings, Amon's thoughts were wondering. Currently, the AI's use is none to me. I can push harder and ask for more things. But as of now, I don't have any need for those since I will leave Skypea in less than a month. Amon thought as he glanced at a camera from the mirror. And when I return, he released a strange chuckle. That's a question for later. By that time, Amon would have the power to destroy the whole hall with just his thoughts. Bzzz the next moment, a hairdryer came from the wall and started to dry his hair and wings. Oh, also cut my hair short. This is a weakness against an enemy of the same caliber, Amon said, as some hands also started to cut his hair. As he enjoyed the warm wind of the hairdryer, he looked down at his crotch as he smiled involuntarily. Nice. While his long hair was flying away after being cut from the warm wind of the dryer, Amon looked at the AI as he noticed the floor above the pool closing itself. Sarah, explain what happened to me? Why did my body change like this? Amon had a guess, yet he asked as the AI beeped. Beep. Beside your wings, your body also changed. All of it is because of the medicine. Hearing her, Amon frowned as if he didn't believe her words. In reality, he knew the fault behind his new looks. He also realized the AI didn't realize this. Or maybe she's deliberately hiding this, but that chance is low. Basically, a small medical discharge caused this change. After your wings absorbed all the contains from the medicine that they could, the rest went to your body. It soon got overdosed, but I couldn't stop the supply as it might have caused your death. Amon nodded as he inspected his body. According to my knowledge, because of the overdose of medicine, some part of your body was supposed to explode, rendering you unable to move for approximately 2.7 years. But that would have only happened if you had already passed your teenage phase. However, now, for you still being a child, it caused the opposite effect and caused your growth to start before it should have. So this time luck saved you. Amon sighed. Well, that's not really luck. The past month, Amon's conqueror's hockey, or more specifically his willpower, had grown to a tremendous degree. That's the reason why he didn't start destroying things after getting free, out of spite. Around the end of the 4th week, he had gained control over his body a little. He felt he might die from the overdosed medicine. However, luckily he had Kaioshin on his side, using which he tried his best to absorb the medicine, and for the ones which he couldn't absorb, he pushed them out of his body, surviving barely in the process. So in the end, even though his 7 years of Kaioshin did not let him move his wings, it at least saved his life. This time, the surgery didn't just help Amon get his wings. He also got a boost at Conqueror's hockey, though he still can't control it as he wished. He also improved a lot in Kaioshin. Well, this came to be better than expected. Now, Unlike his previous estimation of a 6x power boost, he theoretically got an 8x boost at power. Amon then shoved away these wandering thoughts as he looked at a camera. So my body absorbed everything it could, and when it couldn't anymore, my growth sprout started. So it absorbed more? Makes sense. Amon stated the half-truth and feigned ignorance. Yes, it seems to be like that. Also, don't worry, I already checked everything. Your body is fine. In fact, its initial limit has also increased. Amon tilted his head. Limit? For example, it's like this. Before the surgery, even if you had trained for all your life years, you'd have only been able to reach the level of an ant. Now you can reach the level of a winged ant. Though you won't get any boosts at growth speed. Amon looked at the camera with deadpan eyes, but he soon shook his head. Here, read for yourself. A robotic hand handed Amon some papers, as Amon started to read them. According to the paper, something like a being's limit has increased inside me. Amon thought as he read. So, it's similar to Vinsmoke Judge's gene enhancement experiment, but my formula achieved it accidentally. Amon thought, well, in simpler words, it's like a level cap in games. If I could have reached level 10 previously, now I can level 10.001. Amon shook his head. Anyway, it's not a lot of improvement, I'd say, but just with this, I can theoretically create a new type of medicine that could unlock the limit placed in a being till infinity. Amon then put the papers down and looked around. That's for later, I need to go now. Anyway, where are my clothes? Gimme my clothes, I need to go. Amon said as a pack of clothes was brought to him by a small cleaner robot. These are new clothes I made. No, it doesn't give you protection of any kind. Rather, it's just bigger than your previous one as you have a bigger body now. Amon looked at the clothes and started to wear them. He will burn them after changing them with new ones after getting out. All right, thanks, Amon said. By the way, we won't meet for a while, like 2 years or so. I'm going out in the blue sea soon. He said, keep doing research on the devil fruit I left. Destroy it if needed. But I need a result. Let's not forget you have no use for me as of yet. So if you don't prove useful to me, I would just come here after 15. You need to keep me entertained. Amon said in a seemingly playful voice. Okay, Seraph accepted. Amon had left the bone claw fruit here to Seraph so that she can research. She was nice enough to reveal that even she doesn't possess the secret of devil fruits. Then, since one day, the knowledge of DF would only help the Shandorians/Shandians, she agreed on doing what he asked. Alright, Amon replied. Fuck, why is the pants so hard to wear? Trying hard to enter his legs in the pants, Amon continued. Oh, almost forgot to say, I will miss you a lot, baby. So, you miss me too. The AI stayed silent for a while. You should stop acting childish from now on. Your current body doesn't suit that behavior. Amon stopped wearing his pants and looked at the camera. Why? Who the fuck cares about it anyway? If someone cares about me being childish, I will just kill them, he said as he wore the pants. Luckily, it's you this time. The AI just shook her head. He is naive. I hope he doesn't die in the blue sea, where those monsters from world government live. I am not sure if there is any better Shandia in this era other than him, so him dying would be a big loss. Well, master. Amon finally wore the pants and looked at the camera with a raised eyebrow. What? He asked as he looked impatient. The blue sea is dangerous. You shouldn't go down now. You aren't strong enough. Amon just smirked internally. Is that all? Amon asked as he turned around. Bye, I'll be going then. Wait, I have something to give you. Seraph already knew he had decided things already. Her calculations also didn't show any possible changes in his mind. The previous line was just a line to use. Thud. The next moment, a small wallet-type thing fell from the roof. This is a wallet that can turn into a hand glove. When transformed, it's quite useful, since the metals attached in its knuckle is made of sea prism stones. Amon's eyes seemingly shined for a second. Well, acting childish resulted in better than expected. Asterisk. It was deep midnight. Hey look, it's Amon. Huh, are you sure? His wings are strange. Around the upper yard's edge, Amon was running fast, while some Shandians patrolling that area recognized him. Fa. Currently, his wings were flapping rapidly, but he was having a hard time trying to fly. He's been trying this for around 2 hours now, yet he couldn't succeed. Finally, coming at the edge of the upper yard, he jumped. Fa! With a single flap of wings, he leaped high in the sky. Maybe. That's an angel. Yoo-hoo. Around 7 hours later, Amon was flying high in the sky. He had his mouth agape and eyes wide. Is this how birds feel? Asterisk fa. Fa! Asterisk. His wings were not flapping rapidly like before. They had already got a hold of the wind. Each of their flaps was strong, more than he initially expected. As like tempest kick while flying, some birds were sliced in half just from the wind pressure, and he wasn't even doing it on purpose. FH! Amon's short hair was being caressed by the aggressive wings, as he was flying at the speed of 300 kilometers per hour. Damn! He had his eyes closed, as they were hard to open because of the wind. Though he can still fly easily using his observation haki. With this, maybe I can even create a martial art like air karate, like the Fishman karate. Amon said as his wings stopped moving. Well, I need to visit the Fishman Island anyway. That's for later. Whoosh! With his wings clasped together, he started to fall down rapidly as soon. He was about to hit the White Sea, however. Fa! His wings again expanded, as he evaded the fall narrowly. This time he leaped above and kept going upwards. Puff! Finally, he penetrated a random cloud that was flying even above Sky Island. He looked at the moon shining in the sky. In his red eyes, the moon also looked bloody red. Amon smirked. Well, very soon. Phew! Again, Amon fell down as he leaped higher than before. Just like that, as if a child who found a new toy, Amon kept soaring over the sky. Soon the moon vanished, and the sun took its place, yet Amon didn't stop. That day Amon realized his wings were not like birds. Rather than calling them wings, it would be better to call them a second pair of hands. He can punch using his wings, and he can also scratch his back. He can even masturbate anyway. He can expand them to 30 feet, and even make them go back to their original size, the size before surgery. Around a month later, Amon was sitting on his chair in his office, while drinking strawberry juice from the pack he brought from Angel Island. Image here. He is quite often showing off his wings, mostly because he wanted the Birkins to learn about this, so he could move things more smoothly. Last month, he did everything that should have been done for the time when he will be absent. Finally, every preparation was completed. Fuck, this tastes like shit. Amon spat out the juice and threw the package away. Nothing can beat the mango juice. He picked up his glass of mango juice and started to drink it. Maybe I should start a mango juice factory in the future. Ignoring those wandering, useless thoughts, Amon then started to think about the real thing. He plans to start a rumor about him having flyable wings. Though this might attract Big Mom, the race collector's attention, I don't worry too much. Even if the rumor gets spread like wildfire in the sky, it will need decades to reach the blue sea. By then he will be strong enough, but he isn't scared of Big Mom coming after him. The main reason for his fear, or more accurately his caution, is Kaido's all-star, King the Wildfire. That guy has black wings. Amon thought with a frown. I would have taken it as a given that he just likes to clad his wings with haki for protection always, however, according to Big Mama, he is from a race which went extinct. As a Yonko, she should definitely know about Skypiea's existence, so it doesn't make sense that she would call King a member of an extinct race. Amon thought, so it's 110% guaranteed that King is from a race who possesses black wings. Amon thought as he bit his lips lightly. From all the myths in his previous world, a fallen angel or Satan is the one to have black wings. Yes, those are myths in his previous world, however. Satanism does exist even in One Piece, as some random weirdos summoned Brook using Satanism bullshit. Well, I am scared because if this stupid myth is real even in this world, and the white and black-winged race does have a history, and it's something cliché like white-winged race is a natural enemy of black-winged race, then I might get targeted. Also, Big Mom will probably propose to me to join her kingdom, and I can live by accepting it. However, in King's case, he will probably kill me. Amon thought, gritting his teeth. Obviously, this is most likely not true, as King never attacked Skypiea, the place where white-winged people lived. However, that might not be the case after he learns about a Skypiean with large movable wings. If so, then according to these useless myths, King will probably kill me. Fool. Amon released a long breath. I'm thinking too much. They will most likely take me as a devil fruit user. So that's that. I will get away. Amon thought. When I go in the blue sea, I will have to be a little bit more cautious with my wings. Can't show off too much. And if I have to, then I will have to act like this is an effect caused by devil fruit. Oh well, a few years, and I don't have to be worried about small things like these anymore. Thinking too much like always. Suddenly, the door of God's office opened, and ISA entered. Yes, kind of. Anyway, is everyone here? Amon asked as ISA nodded. Previously, he had called all the Shandians on the top of Giant Jack for a meeting. Yes, they are here, ISA said as Amon got up from his seat and started to walk towards the shrine's front yard. As she was walking beside him, ISA opened her mouth. What do you think about with such seriousness anyway? Nothing too important. Nobody knows about the reason for Amon's new wings, except a few people. The few who know the truth that Amon had met the soul of a great Shondorian warrior in the bottom of the upper yard. So, yes, like I said, I will be leaving the tribe for 2 years, Amon said, looking at the people gathered around him. But we are still fixing the ruins. We would need you here. A random Shandian said as many others nodded their heads. Amon sighed. I know, but I have to. But dash. Now it's decided, Amon said as he pointed at the chief sitting around the place. You can ask the chief for more details. I'll let the chief summarize things. The chief did some fake coughs, as he felt a bit nostalgic seeing everyone looking at him. Asterisk cough asterisk. Anyway, he said, even though the Blue Sea is a dangerous place, it is also a place where knowledge as valuable as Verth is laying around. The knowledge that we, the people living in the sky, don't know, and won't know unless someone goes there themselves. The chief took a break to catch a breath. The people still looked a little unsatisfied with the answer, so the chief decided to use the line that Amon taught him. Also, all of you know Mont Noland, right? At the chief's question, everyone nodded. Just like Amon and Wiper, who are descendants of Calgara, don't you think somewhere in the Blues, the descendant of Noland is living? Ah, that's right. This time, everyone agreed. Yes, so if Amon goes down there, he would most likely meet him. Isn't that a good thing? After that, Amon explained how Gonfall will be there to help anyone in need too. The Shandians had a good relationship with him after he's been training Raki and Amon for a year now. And also from the stories, they hear now and then from the chief. He explained how Skypieans will soon join the gods' army too. Though the Shandians were a little reluctant, they accepted the proposal because of Gonfall, and also because of their relationship with some Skypieans who they befriended in secret after taking over the upper yard. Soon it was time for Amon to leave, as he asked everyone to leave the shrine, and give him, Isa, Raki, and Isa some alone time. Are you sure you'll be fine without a boat? Isa asked as she was caressing Amon's hair from behind. Unlike Canon, she didn't have short hair, as Amon didn't let her cut them. Should I prepare some more mangoes? It's fine. I don't need a boat, but I need mangoes. You don't have to treat me like a kid anymore, though. Amon said as he was playing with Isa on his embrace. Why? Are you a grown-up now? She said as she hugged him tightly from behind, as her chest pressed against his back. Can I not act like this with you anymore? I don't know, it's up to you to decide. If you ask, I can be your little shit. Amon bit his tongue as he realized how he was about to flirt with Isa. My days with the AI messed up my mind. I need to calm myself down in the Blues. Were you saying anything? Isa asked, unaware. Nothing, keep doing what you are. Just like that, a few hours passed. Raki was pretty quiet the whole time, even though she was still playing with Amon. She was still wearing the mask though. With Isa falling asleep, Isa went inside the shrine to leave her in the god's comfy bed. Amon didn't really mind anything like these, yet previously, Isa never left Isa in God's shrine, nor did she stay. But now since Amon is going to leave, she didn't mind using the comfy mansion for her and her daughter. Hey brother. Suddenly, Raki called out as Amon looked at her. She was standing in front of him, with her back straightened and hands shaking. I will become strong in the 2 years you will be gone, she said as Amon smiled softly. He expected her to cry and beg him to not leave, however. It seemed the little girl was growing now. Amon didn't answer as he crouched down, took off her mask, and surprised her. Yeah, what are you dash? Raki tried to cover her face with her hands, but Amon caught them. She realized her promise she made to herself was just now broken. No need for that shit, Amon said. You want me to leave for 2 years without seeing my sister's face? He said as Raki looked down. Soon, Amon laughed out loud, before she could realize why she felt a forehead touching her own. Raki, you are half my size. With his forehead touching hers, Amon said. The tip of his nose also touched hers. Raki's face became red. It's been a long time since both of them have been this close, and now Amon looked quite different than before. 2 years from now, when I return from the Blues, I want to see you the same height as me. Become strong enough, so that I don't need to protect you any longer. Raki's hands were shaking, as was about to faint, but she still uttered the last words. Why yes, big brother. Amon kept looking at her with a smile, but his internal thoughts were quite different. TCH so dramatic. Amon didn't really feel anything too much for leaving Skypea for 2 years. In fact, he was happy to do so. He was for a long time feeling quite crammed in this place. Even though the sky was wide and tall, he still wanted to go to the Blue Sea right now. However, he was aware, even if the 2 years time frame was quite little for him, it was quite long for a child like Raki's mindset. So instead of just straight up leaving, he decided to boost her will. Though she won't grow as tall as me in 2 years, at least she will train more diligently. Another few hours later, when Raki was wearing her mask again and Isa had returned, Amon was about to take off. Did you forget anything? Do you need more mango? Isa again asked as tears were forming on the corner of her eyes. No. Do you want to stay a few more days? Amon just smiled at her constant questions and shook his head. Raki was there clenching her teeth to not cry. Anyway, I will be going now, Amon said. I will come back. 2 years later. Isa wiped her tears and smiled. Amon gave a last glance at Raki and decided to take off now. His wings soared up and FH flapped themselves. Flight. Phew. In a second, Amon leaped high in the sky out of the two's sight. A war would be inevitable at that rate, where 3,000 Birkin priests proficient at mantra and possess great battle experience would definitely win against the 130 Shandians. Amon was at the losing end, so he had to play safe. Enel is supposed to get the fruit at 1516. This is only 1512, so unless something massive gets changed, he won't get it before that time. Shaking his head with smile on his face, Amon closed his eyes. The next moment, he opened his sharp eagle eyes. I will become strong, enough to not worry about some random king. As he thought this, he also heard a shout saying something similar from down the jack. Amon just smiled. He has prepared everything needed if things go highway. If someone gets Goro before him and attacks the upper yard, he has all the traps around the place to subdue him in seconds, even when he's not around. Besides that, in the worst-case scenario, if someone gets the Goro no Mi and tries to attack the upper yard, they will fail. The whole upper yard is an electric malfunction array. There are a few bullets made of sea prism. Dewey can blow a person's head from a 200 kilometers distance. There are rubber bullets too. There are rubber suits for anyone to wear and go against the Goro Eater, even if this time it's not Enel. The rubber came from the merchants and pirates that came to Skypea. After what happened last time, Amon is always prepared for any unexpected situation. Even if he isn't present at that place, he will have absolute control over it. In the end, there was himself who can come back to the sky anytime, just by a call from any of the Shandians.